Hi everyone. This is a video tutorial to show us how to use our new email system and the Office 365 program. So to get started, we're just going to look up here in the upper left hand corner and we're going to take a look at this symbol. And this symbol right here is called the waffle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this waffle. Once I've clicked the waffle, it's going to show me several different icons. For today, we're going to focus on mail. So right now I'm going to go ahead and click on mail. So within our mailbox, you can see things like folders and groups. If I click folders, this arrow right here, it will maximize the group. And you can see that it says inbox, clutter, sent items, more. So if I click on more, it will bring me to this. If I want to get back at any time, I just have to click this arrow and it will bring me back to where I began. So I'm going to do so. And once again, I'm going to minimize this because what I want to focus on is groups. So here we have groups. I'm going to maximize this by clicking on the arrow. As you can see here right now, I'm currently a member of 3 different groups. Each group will have their own individual name and their own circle to identify the group. But right now I want to create a new group. How do I do that? So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click create. It's going to ask me to create a group. Right now I'm going to stick with a standard group. So I'm going to click next. So recently at 993 at 191, we've started a special events committee. So what I want to do is I want to make a shared group for the members within this group to share emails, ideas, and discuss things all in a shared space. So I'm going to choose a name for this. So for this group, for special events committee, I'm going to call it the SEC 993 at 191. So as you can see here, it will come up in green and it will say available if this name is not already taken. So for example, if I just go ahead and backspace and I wanted to name it something like speech 93 at 191, it would tell me not available because this group already exists. So I'm going to head back and I'm going to start with the name I decided upon. SEC for Special Events Committee 993 at 191. I'm just going to keep the group ID, what comes up in the gray writing, as you can see here. Under add a description, you can add a brief description about the group if you want. You don't have to do that, but so for example, you could write something like, this is a shared space. This is a shared space for members of the Special Events Committee at 993 at 191. So now what will happen is when people are invited to this group, that is the description that they will see. So they can kind of get an understanding of what they're being invited to. If you look here under privacy, we're going to select private so that only members of this group can see what's inside. We're going to select English. We're going to hit subscribe. We want to create this group now though, so we're going to head up to the top and we're going to click create. So right now it's asking me to add members of my group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add names and see if they pop up to the email addresses of 2 people that I know are members of the Special Events Committee. So let's see. So as you can see, I'm searching for an email address. Now let me check another one. Okay, so right now it says that I have 2 newly added members. However, these members are not added completely to my group until I head up here and I click add. So right now I'm going to stick with 2 members who I'm absolutely certain are part of the Special Events Committee. You can always come back and you can always add others. So for now I'm just going to click add. So once I have created this group and I've selected some members that I want to add, as you can see here, now I am a member of 4 groups. Initially I was only a member of 3. And now there's a 4th section. So if we take a look here at this bar, it will show us some of the things that we can do as members of this group. So first I'm going to start with conversations. So conversations is kind of like a text message system, but it's within your email account. So you can go ahead and you can send brief messages, you can ask questions, and it's kind of more informal, so it doesn't have to be in the form of a formal, complete email, which is nice because if you just have a quick question and you want to shoot it out to the group, you can do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to click New Conversation. So maybe for the first message, I'm going to say, welcome to the Special Events Committee shared group for PS 993 at 191. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click send. As you can see, when I click send, because I am also a member of the group, I received a notification of this new alert. So if you click here, you can see, welcome to the Special Events Committee shared group for PS 993 at 191. So just like I received this alert or this notification, all of the members that are members of this group also received that same notification. Very informal. If you want, you can reply. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at files. So files is really interesting because it's almost like a drive for your computer, for your email system. So what you can do is you can add things that you feel you might want to share with members of the group. So as you can see here, it says this folder is empty. So it says I can drag files here to upload. So you can drag things from your desktop. If you don't want to do that, you can click new and you create documents here and those will be shared within. Or you can click upload. Upload, if you click that, will show you all the documents that are on your computer or on your flash drive, which you might want to add to this group. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to head into images. And since we are going to do some Halloween activities for the Special Events Committee, I'm going to click on the Caramel Apples Board Maker activity that I've found. And I'm just going to simply drag that in. So as you can see, this is now loaded up onto the SEC 993 at 191 file. So just to recap, just to show you really where this is, I'm going to head back to my waffle. I'm going to start all over from the beginning. So I'm going to click on that waffle and I'm going to go into my mail because that's where I'm going to find my shared groups. So as you can see, I have 4 groups now that I'm a part of, but I want to take a look and I want to see if that picture that I uploaded is there. So I'm going to click on the SEC 993 at 191 and I'm going to head to files. All right, so as you can see, that file that I uploaded is now there. So I can see that and every member of this group can also see that. In addition, members can add other things that you could see. So as you see here, this is just a board maker activity, following directions for making caramel apples. All right, now I want to head back. So I'm going to go back to my mail. I'm going to go into this group. So I also want to show you calendar. So if you click on calendar, you can see that there are some events in here right now. So it can become a little bit visually overwhelming up top because you might have several groups listed at the top and you might have several different calendars. So as you can see now, I have 4 different groups and all of those events are listed on this calendar. However, what I want to do is I want to delete some of these because it's a little bit visually overwhelming. So I'm going to click here and here and here. So right now, as you can see, the only thing that I'm focusing on is the SEC 993 at 191 calendar. So for example, I know that we did have a meeting on September 7th. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an event to this calendar. So there was an SEC meeting. And I know we had it at 2:30 to about 3 o'clock. And I'm going to click save. So right now within this calendar, you can see that there was an event added. If you wanted to go ahead and you wanted to take a look at some other groups to see if there was some scheduling conflicts, you could then just go over to your side panel over here under groups and you could simply click on that additional group. And as you can see, that group was clicked and there was a new event added. So you can have all of them at the same time, but I kind of prefer looking at them individually. Okay, so that's how you see shared groups and calendar space. I'm going to head back now to the waffle. I'm going to head into our group Because one last thing I really want to take a look at is the notebook. So the notebook is pretty cool because it's almost like a digital notebook, which will allow you and all the other members of the group to share ideas and information all within one space. So for example, for the Special Events Committee, we're going to be doing things based off the months. So for September, we might be having a back to school night, but for October, we might be having a Halloween parade or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label this section. So this section is going to be referred to as special events. All right. So now I have a special events part of my notebook. Within that notebook, I might have other sections or other pages. So right now, here's my first page. So within the special events, I might have back to school night. I might want to add another special event. So I'm going to click page. Now I'm going to add Halloween parade. So as you can see, I have special events, and within the special events, I have two separate pages, back to school night and Halloween parade. So for example, you use it as a notebook. You could type almost as if you're typing on Microsoft Word. You go to home and you can type here, as you can see. So I'm going to put a bullet point, and I'm just going to write a note to myself that there may be a back to school night September 22nd. So you can go ahead and you can add more things, you can add more charts. But right now I'm just going to focus on the Halloween parade. So within the Halloween parade, we're also going to have some stations. And at one of the stations, we're going to have a candy apple stand. So right now I'm just going to write a quick note to myself that we're doing candy apples at one of the stations. And I'm just going to add a picture that I found for my other colleagues to take a look at that maybe would be a cool idea for our candy apple stations. So as you can see, I'm just going to take a look in my images over here. Oops, okay. So let me head back into this waffle. I lost my page here. So once again, we're going to head back into this shared group. We're going to go to that notebook. And it brings me right back to school night, but that's not what I want to look at. I want to look at the Halloween parade. And as you can see, I have candy apples at one of the stations. Now I want to insert a picture. All right. So I'm going to insert a picture. I'm going to choose a file. So within my images, I have a picture of a candy apple bar where the students can dip and they can select the different toppings that they want. And I want to add this so that my friends can see this idea. So I just added that picture. Maybe I also want to add this picture in. So as you can see now, those two pictures were inserted. I can also add other things. I could add more text, or I can even add a website. So for example, if I just open up this window, and I'm a member of Boardmaker Share. It's a great website if you're not a member of it. And I'm just going to take a look for that candy apple recipe. Oh, you know what? Actually, it was caramel apples. All right, and as you can see, it's right here. So if I wanted to, I could go up into the upper bar. I could copy this website. I could head back into my notebook. And now I'm going to insert a link. So I'm going to paste that link, and I'm just going to say Boardmaker caramel apple. So as you can see now, that link there is there, and anybody that wants to take a look at it can be directed to that link. All right, so if we click here, we'll just show you again the special events, and within that we have the back to school night where you can also have some other notes and you can share this with your colleagues, or you can take a look at maybe you want to talk about the Halloween parade again. The nice thing about this is that as you type, once you click enter, the other individuals within the group can see that immediately. So they could be at home or at school, and you could be at another site, and you can share this almost immediately. It's pretty fast depending on your internet connection, but it's very, very good to do collaborative work. All right, so we're just going to head back into the mail and take one last look at that group that we created. So we're just going to go over it again. So as you can see, we went over conversations, files, went over the calendar briefly, and the notebook. And the last thing we can briefly touch upon is the planner. So the planner is almost like a to-do list. So as you can see here, you can add a to-do. So I can do things like shop for apples. If I was doing that candy apples activity, I hit enter, and now it's there. I can check it off when I've completed it, and it will say that it was completed. Say I need to also buy caramel. I'm going to add that task. It will show up here. So it's a cool way of just giving yourself some reminders of what you need to do at your site. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to showing you more videos.